I'm not going to lie. I absolutely love when the transfer window closes. I'm going to be honest. I love when the transfer window closes because then it gives managers no more excuses. Everybody is allowed to just look at the team that they have, look at the squad that they've assembled, and get to coaching. You know, when the transfer window is still open, you know, you lose a game, you draw, you start saying, we need this, we need to sign this, we need. That's it. No, no more. We have our team for the season, well, at least till January, and you work with that, and the best coaches win. Do you know what I mean? That's just what I love about it. There's been a madness this window. So much has gone on. And I'm not even talking about the whole transfer window, even just today. I feel like this is the transfer window for me with the most, like, I always say it's like a simulation. It's like we're living in a simulation. Some of the deals that we've seen is like, it's so random. Like, let's just even talk, for example, Donnarumma to Man City. If I told you that was a transfer that would happen at any point, you'd be like, nah, it doesn't feel like a Pep sign. It doesn't feel like a Pep type of player. And you wouldn't have even imagined him, especially after winning the Champions League with PSG. You would not have imagined him playing for Manchester City. I mean, it's just so random. And then Edison has gone to Fenerbahce after being linked with Galatasaray all summer. That must be causing absolute hell, by the way. Absolute hell in Turkey. Trust me. But, you know, there's been so many moves. Fabrizio's working. But let me start with the big one. Obviously, we know about Alexander Isak. I've done my video on that already. Go and check that out, people. But the one that's been dominating the news today is involving Liverpool again. And that's Mark Guéhi to Liverpool. And that deal has collapsed. That deal has collapsed. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. I'm happy it collapsed. I'm happy it collapsed. And let me tell you why I'm happy it collapsed. Because one, I'm really looking forward to seeing Crystal Palace this season, right? I think Crystal Palace, even despite losing Eze, can have a really good season this year. I mean, I really like Oliver Glasner. Of course, you guys know how much I love Adam Wharton. I just like the Crystal Palace team. I love Ismail Assar, Mateta. I like the team. I like what they've got going on. And I actually think with if they keep their players, they could have a really good season. And whether that's in the Conference League, whether that's in the Premier League, I think Crystal Palace are one of them teams to watch, and they can kind of be like everybody's favourite second team in a way, you know? And I'm looking forward to seeing what they're doing. Not only that, but I think personally, I know Mark Guéhi wanted the move. Of course, you know, Liverpool are after you, you will want that move. That makes perfect sense. Now, I'm not going to deny that. However, from an individual standpoint, I actually think it's best for him to stay this season. Mark Guéhi, if he stays at Crystal Palace, he will start for England at the World Cup. If he goes to Liverpool, he's going to be battling for his position. You know, Konate is going to be there. Van Dijk is going to be there. He's going to be playing bit part until maybe Van Dijk, maybe they're trying to look for a long-term replacement for him, or Konate goes off to Real Madrid next season. Next season, he'll have no doubt he'll play. But this year, I think he would have been in and out of the team. And at Crystal Palace, he's the captain. They could have a good year. He starts for England, and I think he could retain that position. So for me, I think it's perfect for him to stay at Crystal Palace for his own interest. Now, going forward, even when it comes to, I think he's on his last year of his deal approaching, he can even go for free. He can even go for free, or he can go for a cheaper, you know, the sign-on fees that he can get. A lot of things on an individual basis for me makes sense for Mark Guéhi to stay at Crystal Palace. So no, Liverpool, haven't you done enough? Haven't you done enough? Liverpool have signed everyone. Liverpool have signed spent 400 million. Made some sales as well, some interesting sales that I will talk about. But Liverpool have made some sales as well. Liverpool have signed players, but Igor is really the one that threw everything off, because Igor was meant to go to Crystal Palace, and I think he ended up going to West Ham, I believe it was. So that absolutely threw everything off, right? But I just think Mark Guéhi, it's good for him to be there. Liverpool, hey, settle down. You just got Isak. You just got all this business going on. It's enough. Rest, please. Rest. So that's what happened there. And, you know, obviously Harvey Elliott as well. That's an interesting one. Harvey Elliott and Jadon Sancho. Guys, Harvey Elliott and Jadon Sancho. I'm just getting up the deal now. Harvey Elliott has gone to Aston Villa for a loan with obligation to buy at 35 million. Now, I really like Harvey Elliott. I'm a fan of Harvey Elliott, and I think this is a brilliant move for him and for Liverpool. You know, I'm surprised Liverpool maybe didn't add maybe potentially a buyback clause or something like that. But it's about time Harvey Elliott starts playing regular football now. It's about time. We've seen him do well at Fulham. He's done well at Blackburn. He's done well in parts at Liverpool too. He does well all the time for England under 21s. He's like the England under 21 GOAT. But it's time now for him to start playing regular football. And again, another person that needs to start making noise for England's first team. Can you potentially get in there? He's a big talent for me, neat player. And I think with his Liverpool experience and what he's probably learned playing alongside them players, I think that's a really good signing for Aston Villa. And I'm looking forward to seeing what role he can play. We saw Asensio go there last season and play a really big part in what they're doing. Can he replicate something like that in them same kind of similar zones that Asensio was playing in? So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And of course, he will be joined by another player that he would also be familiar with. And that's Jadon Sancho. Now, Jadon Sancho, I was thinking, is this guy really not going to get a move? Is he really just going to sit on Manchester United's bench, bomb squad, and rot the whole way? Anthony's gone now. Rashford's obviously gone. Garnacho's gone. Højlund's gone. I'm thinking Jadon Sancho's not going to get a move. But he finally did get his move, and he's gone to Aston Villa as well. And for Sancho, again, this is another one which is an interesting one, because for him, obviously, he went to Chelsea. He did okay. I don't think he was that great at Chelsea, but he did okay. Won the Conference League. And now he's going to Aston Villa. And this is another one where now, forget about Manchester United. Him playing at Aston Villa is either to make his deal permanent eventually. Maybe Aston Villa fork out the money to sign him. Or actually show another team that, listen, I've got a lot in the tank. And I think Aston Villa is a good team to go to, because people are expecting Aston Villa to slide. People are not expecting Aston Villa to have a great season. Because of what they've done in the market. But as I said, they've just brought in Jadon Sancho. They've just brought in Harvey Elliott. That's some attacking reinforcement. They still got Ollie Watkins. They still got Morgan Rogers. So all of a sudden, you're looking at this team, you're thinking, okay, if they can gel, maybe they can climb up the table again. But Jadon Sancho is going to need to be a lot closer to the Sancho that showed promise all them years ago. He's going to have to be... He turned down Roma. He turned down Juve. All these teams that he's turned down. Aston Villa in the Premier League. He's familiar with the Premier League now. I think he needs to go out there and rip it up to kind of, in a way, reignite his career, because you thought maybe he can kick on at Chelsea. They were actually willing to sign him, and then he didn't want to take the pay cut or whatever the situation was. And so that just dimmed his light again. Now this is a moment for him to go and show himself. And I want to see more at Aston Villa than he showed at Chelsea. Because I think a lot of people, maybe because we saw absolutely nothing at Man United, it's like, oh, he did well at Chelsea. I thought he was okay. I don't think he was anything special at Chelsea at all. Nothing special. So I think Aston Villa is the opportunity. It's a good platform. They like this type of player for him to go and show himself. And in a way, try and make that him become one of the top 3 key players in that team. Can he go and do that? If he does that and Aston Villa has a good season, all of a sudden Jadon Sancho's future and trajectory looks completely different. So that's a move that I'm interested in seeing, him and Harvey Elliott. So Aston Villa, late deadline day moves. I'm definitely interested, and I'm definitely intrigued to see what they've got going on. I think, has he already done his pictures in Aston Villa top? No, I don't think he has as of yet. Now, let's get to Manchester United, right? Lamens. Now, I don't know much about him, guys. And remember, this video, I'm only selectively talking about certain players. I'm not going to talk about every single signing. We will be here forever, but I am going to probably do a video, talking about the transfer window, who won the transfer window, ranking each other's windows, etc. But guys, Lamens. Now, I don't know much about him. I saw somebody say that, there's similarities to him with Thibaut Courtois. Courtois is obviously 6'7", so at 6'7", he's a unique goalkeeper in terms of he's an absolute man mountain. But I'm seeing the comparisons with him. I'm seeing all the stats. Let me get up all the stats that people are pushing around. The most saves, 20 more saves than anyone in Europe. He prevented 14.5 goals last season. De Gea in his peak season prevented 12.5 goals, and that was in the 17-18 season where De Gea was honestly Superman. Lamens made 173 saves in the league. 173 saves, 20, as I said, 20 more saves than anybody. And, I saw some people saying, oh, well, we should have got Martinez and stuff. Listen, I'm more familiar with Martinez, so I was leaning towards him. He had a bad season last year, but I'm trusting in his quality. But at the same time, it's one of them situations where I'm not too mad at this because I want to see what happens. I want to wait and see what Manchester United do here. Because if Manchester United were the ones to sign Donnarumma, put him on a massive wage, and then City signed Lamens, and Lamens was good and Donnarumma was good, was average, we'll turn around and say, well, why is our scouting? We just go for big names. Lamens was in the same market as Donnarumma and Martinez. But but we never have that vision. We just have to see, man. I know he's young, so that worries people. But Peter Cech was young when he signed for Chelsea. Thibaut Courtois was young when he signed for Chelsea. David De Gea was young when he signed for Man United. Who else? There's plenty of... Edison was 23 when he signed for Man City himself. So I'm not too worried about that. My thing is, listen, just do the basics. Catch some crosses, make some saves, and that's it. We are in the mud when it comes to goalkeepers, people. We are in the absolute mud. So the basics will look like Superman for us, right? So I'm happy that Man United signed a goalkeeper because, honestly, going into the season with Onana and Bayinda, we've already seen in the first 3 games. Grimsby, Onana was absolutely shocking. Arsenal, Bayinda for the corner, ridiculous. And yes, so those 3 games, I think keeping was at all-time low, right? So we just need this goalkeeper, and I don't want to see him, he needs time to settle. No, I want to see him straight in versus Man City, people. I want to see him straight in. Donnarumma's going straight in. Why can't he? Oh, actually, Donnarumma might not go straight in, to be fair. I want to see how they handle that James Trafford situation. But he needs to go straight in. He needs to go straight in. And I'm going to watch a lot of reports and stuff about him. I'll be honest, I've seen some videos. He looks all right in some. He looks really amazing in some. So with goalkeepers, how much do you learn from them in these videos, So I'm excited about that. I'm happy about that. But one thing I'm not happy about, people, is this is another transfer window where Manchester United have not addressed that centre midfield position. And for me, people, I'm not trying to be a doomer, but I think that can seal our fate, I really think that can seal our fate. I think the midfield 4 that we have at the moment isn't good enough, especially for the Ruben Amorim system, especially for what he requires from his midfielders. I don't think anyone really has the strengths to play in the midfield that he requires. And I think it's going to be another season of suffering, another season of struggle ball, not dominating games, not keeping the ball, getting overrun, because I'm looking at my field and I'm thinking, why have Man United not gone in for a midfielder? I don't get it. And it's not only just, forget about just now, why do Man United have why are we allergic to signing midfielders, people? Why don't we sign midfielders? I've got this list right here, right? Which I'm going to get up now, people. Just 1 second. It was a list of the signings that Manchester United have made, right? In midfield since Sir Alex Ferguson has left. In 2013-14, we signed Fellaini. 14-15, Herrera. Next season, Schneiderlin and Schweinsteiger. Then Pogba. Then Matic. Then Fred. Then nobody, then Van der Beek, then nobody again, then Eriksson and Casemiro, then Amrabat, then Ugarte, then nobody. Guys, that is disgusting. That is a disgusting collection of midfielders that we have bought in terms of, bro, I'm sorry, there's only about 2 ballers in there. The rest of them are bang average players, people. Bang average players. A lot of them are bang average. I like what Fellaini offered Man United. Herrera, passion, he offered a little bit, but never high-end quality. Pogba, you could say yes. Schneiderlin and Schweinsteiger, that was a miss. Matic, he gave us a little bit. Fred, again, average player. Van der Beek, let's not speak about that. Nobody. Eriksson and Casemiro, not good enough. Amrabat, not good enough. Ugarte, best that I don't speak about that. Why do we neglect our midfield? And I think this window we've missed the trick again. This should have been a window that Manchester United are signing some centre midfielders, not even one, two centre midfielders, and we kick on from there. We neglect the most important part of the pitch, and I never understand it. I truly do not understand it. But let me go through Fabrizio's, and I think that's put a cap on our window. You know, if we sign some centre mids, you can look at the window and say, okay, you know, wow, Nottingham Forest have signed Zinchenko. Wow. Zinchenko has gone to Nottingham Forest. And they've also signed Dylan Bakwa from Strasbourg as well. Interesting. Forest with the last two bomber, as they say, last two deadline day deals 13 minutes ago, 9 minutes ago, as this video is being recorded. They have signed two players. Obviously, Arsenal signed Nkapi. Laporte has just gone back to Athletic Bilbao. By the way, I think Laporte is still a good player. I think he's still a fantastic player. If anyone's looking for a ball player in centre half, Laporte. Chilwell has gone to Strasbourg. Man, this guy's just, the way he's just been exiled out of football is insane. But I hope he can reinvent himself, man, because I liked him. You know, I liked Ben Chilwell. Obviously, Højlund has left the football club. But again, I'm gonna go through everybody's individual deals, people, as we go along. You know, probably tomorrow in terms of who had the best windows. We look at Victor Boniface. He's just gone to Werder Bremen. I don't know what's been happening with his situation, but for him to end up at Werder Bremen, it just seems like he was trying to get out by Leverkusen. I think this is a good signing as well. Chukwueze has gone to Fulham. I think that's a good signing, especially with Marco Silva and with what Fulham's going on. Samu Chukwueze to Fulham. I've seen a lot of him, of course. You know, Niger. This guy is a good... Listen, he's up and down, but he can offer some quality. He can offer some things that Fulham don't have at the moment. So 25 million euros, I don't think that's a bad deal. I think that's a good one. Now, Spurs, they've obviously been active as well. Randall Kolo Muani. You know, the name that always seems to be getting linked to Premier League clubs. Obviously, he's been at PSG and he had this little spell at Juventus. I think that's a good signing, people. I think that's a good sign. I think for the way he plays football, I think it's very suited to the Premier League. I like that he can go to the left, go to the right. As long as he's not restricted only in the 9 role, I think Kolo Muani can be a good addition. And I think Muani is looking for a home. And that's important. Sometimes there's some players that are looking for a home. Similar situation to Jadon Sancho now. Some players are looking for a home, for a football club to put their arm around and be like, we love you. You know, we love you. And I think Tottenham and Muani is a good marriage. I think that's a good deal, a good situation there. Obviously, it's just a straight loan as well. They say never fall in love with a loan player, but let's see how much they'll be in love with him by the end. Solanke cannot stay fit, and also he didn't score enough goals last season. He gives them something different. He's got that little bit of added quality, in my opinion, as well. You know, and now with Xavi Simons there, Kudus there, Muani, it's kind of looking like a whole new attack for Tottenham, and there could be opportunities that Muani plays on the left-hand side when Solanke comes there, you know what I mean? So now they've got options and he's got various roles that he can fill in. I don't mind that deal, people. Let me know what you think about that deal. I think that's a good signing for Spurs. You know, Gundogan has left the building as well, people. Gundogan has left the building, gone to Galatasaray, and look, the return of Gundogan didn't go the way you expected, right? Maybe this should have been directly from Barcelona. I love Gundogan in terms of how he is as a player. I think he's fantastic, but the return was not great. And back to Turkey he goes. I don't even know if he's ever lived in Turkey, but I know he's Turkish. So back to Turkey that he goes, man. So yeah, guys, man, that was just a quick rundown. Nico Jackson, yes, let me quickly get into that. The Nico Jackson thing. Now, Chelsea, sometimes you just gotta, I don't know how they do this. Chelsea have got £70 million coming their way for Nico Jackson in totality. A £15 million loan with a buyout of like 55 million or whatever it was. It's crazy how how have they got 70 million out of Nico Jackson? And I like Nico Jackson. I hope he goes and does well. I think it's a good signing for Bayern. I don't know where he's going to play because that's Harry Kane's role, you know? Like, I always say, listen, Harry Kane is the Gigi Buffon of goalkeepers. If you're a striker in his position, forget it. You ain't having a career for a long time. We've seen it. You see it with England. Vardy had to retire early, bro. You know what I mean? Like, forget it. But 70 million for him is insane. But I'm liking the signing for Bayern and Chelsea, honestly, recouping that money. I mean, as much as Chelsea spend, the money that they recoup is absolutely ridiculous. I actually genuinely don't know how they do it. Obviously, Buonate has joined them as well. That's something that I'm looking forward to seeing as well. Another person that's going to be in that kind of like behind the striker roles, you know, where Pedro's been playing, where Palmer plays, where all these guys are. So him in that role, it's random, innit? Buonate, it's random. Chelsea I can't keep up with the business that they do. I really cannot keep up with the business they do. Akanji has left the building as well. So City are now actually moving on some of the old guard, you know. They've moved on Edison. They've moved on Akanji. They've moved on Gundogan. I think that's super important for what they're trying to do. They need to start getting rid of these type of guys. I'm talking about sales. Fulham have signed, Chelsea have also sold Tyreek George. And, you know, there was some talk that he's got a future with Chelsea and they pushed him, you know, in terms of letting him be around the first team. And that's what Chelsea do really good, though, people. And I think it's underrated. Chelsea expose their players in decent scenarios and then sell them. The same way that Man United now with Frederiksen, he ain't going to be the levels for Manchester United, but he's shown himself to be okay. Cash in now. Cash in now. While people still think, yes, it's Carrington graduate. He's paid for Man United. He's a good player. Same thing with like Tyreek George. Cash in now. That's what Chelsea do the best. They put these guys in the limelight a little bit. Then boom, next thing you know, they've left the football club. That is how you should do it. That is how you make sales. Aston Villa have signed Victor Lindelof. Victor Lindelof to Aston Villa. Good luck with that for them. Good luck. Good luck with that one, man, honestly. But guys, like, share, subscribe, turn notifications on. This is just a bit of my thoughts about some of the signings. I don't want to go through all of them, which I'm going to probably do tomorrow, you know, for the whole transfer window in terms of who's made the best signings, who I think didn't do enough, etc. So listen, guys, like, share, subscribe. Go and check out my Alexander Isak video that just come out yesterday night. Like, share, subscribe, turn your notifications on. It's your boy CultureCams. I'm so glad the transfer window is done. Thank you. Let's get to coaching. No more excuses. No more this, no more that. We'll see what happens until January. I'm out. Peace.